Video is to review creating Google Docs forms for the purpose of gathering survey information for your assessment tasks and also for use in your other classes. So first of all, you need to log into a Google Drive account, which most of you have already set up. And then in the Create section, you would go into creating a new form. I'm not going to create another one now because we have one that we can use as an example. So as soon as we go in, you notice that this form has been turned off to accepting responses. You need to make sure when you're still gathering response data that it shows accepting responses, or people won't be able to fill your form in. The next thing for usability, make sure that you have ticked Show Progress Bar at the bottom of the form pages. That allows people to realize how much they have to go in filling out your survey, and it helps users from becoming too frustrated. Secondly, it's essential for the assessment that you show that you're looking at ethical issues of digital information, and one of those is that you are letting the survey takers know that the data will be used for private use only and not be shared. And the other thing is you should ask for permission for them to participate in the survey and to use your data. So you can tell them something about the survey in a section header, and that's what we did here. And then you should have a yes/no multi-choice question asking them for their permission to participate. If the answer is yes, you can use a go-to page based on an answer. So then, assuming that you've made another page, the user can go on and complete the survey. If the answer is no, then you should just have them submit the form and not use their time or yours collecting data that they won't allow you to use. Again, you should, for usability, add some section headings and or page breaks. And that allows you to just break up your information and also to allow the users to get an idea of what type of information they're going to be filling in this section or this page. This is a type of question, which is just a plain text question. You can use these when you need to, such as names, but use them sparingly because then users can put in any type of information and you won't get data that is easy to validate or is easy to check in your database. So when at all possible, think of using a different question type and don't use too many just open-ended questions where people can type whatever they'd like. Here we have an example of a choose from a list. When you do have a choose from a list, you can have it go to a page based on an answer, if that makes sense in your survey. Also, remember when you are giving users choices, multi-choice answers, make sure that they don't overlap, especially important in age categories or any other sort of category. Don't have your user be confused. And also make sure that all categories are covered and that you haven't left any gaps. This alternatively could have been the type of question multiple choice, and then users would be provided radio buttons, but checkboxes would not be appropriate here. Here are two examples where you'll get the same type of input to use in your database, where you'll get a set number of responses but you can choose the formatting that you want. So one, again, choose from a list or multi-choice. Either one will restrict the user's answers. I do not recommend having too many with other because you can then get some data that is unmanageable to analyze. Another type of question that will come in useful when you're gathering survey data is to use a scale. It's best, again, to use a section heading, just say, and group the things together that the users are going to rate. So for in this example, we have fast food places with ratings, and we've given a bit of an instruction. And then adding a scale question. It's good to let the user know which one is high, which one is low. You can change the scale 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 8, but just make sure it's similar for all similar questions. There are 2 labels that you can fill in. One that will be the left end label, or in this case the bottom ranking, and one that will be the right end label that will be the top ranking. And once you have it set up once, you can simply duplicate and add, then just change the question title to add another ranking. In this example, we can change it to Pizza Hut. It's much better to use a scale to get your data than have users have a lot of checkboxes, because when you have a lot of checkboxes, it's harder to analyze once you bring it in to the database without doing a lot of text to columns. It's harder to get it in. And secondly, you won't really get a feel for if you give people too many questions with checkboxes, what they actually prefer. And then finally, you can change your confirmation page and make it more personalized. Before you send out the form, a requirement will be of the internal assessment that you have actually checked the form. Now, this may seem trivial, but it's actually quite important. What you should do is view the live form firstly and take it yourself. So check to make sure that the things happen as you would expect. For example, if I click no, I shouldn't be asked to continue on to the survey. And if I check yes, I should be able to continue on with the survey. It's really important that you have others read the survey for meaning and to make sure that the questions make sense and that they can actually put in all the answers that they would have liked to put in. So you may think that a question is quite obvious, or you think that you've given them the correct answer choices, but another user may not, may see it differently, and so it's very good to get somebody else's opinion before you send it out to the greater public, or in our case, group year 11. I would expect that you've tested it with 3 to 5 other people, and then you will actually annotate that, document that, and show how you've made changes. I would expect that most of you will have some changes based on your feedback, and that's a good thing. It shows that you've done some user testing of your form. So once you have tested it, edited it as appropriate, then you are ready to send the form out. And you can do that by copying the link and then pasting that into your regular Columba mail and sending it out, or by typing a list of email addresses. It's probably quicker to copy the link and use your Columba mail application, as you can have some autocomplete or use our setup group system. Once you've sent it out, you should be gathering responses, and again, make sure that your accepting responses is turned on. And then once you think you've given enough time to your users to respond, you have enough responses, you can turn that off so that your data doesn't change, and go into the spreadsheet view into viewing your responses. Before you download it, you can clean up some of your data because some people may have answered it in a silly way or left things blank, and you're just going to disregard that. So you can click on a row and edit, and you can then delete that row if there's anything you prefer not to download. Once you have cleaned up your data, you need to download as a CSV document. It's important that you use a CSV document as you'll be using this to import into your FileMaker Pro, and that just makes sure that it's easy to convert. It's easy to bring into FileMaker Pro. Our version doesn't play nicely all the time with an XLS file, so it's better to use a comma-separated values. And once it's downloaded, you can look at your data in Excel or Numbers, and before you bring it in to your database, it's a good idea to clean up your headings. Some of them may be too long for use as field names. There isn't a limit in what you can use as field names, but it's better to have short and descriptive field names, whereas the titles that are coming in here are the actual questions. So for example, favorite junk food. And just favorite fruit. And once you've done that, you can save. Just continue on with the warnings. It's just saying that it's a CSV, and if you had any special formatting or formulas, they may not be compatible, but we don't have that. We just have data that we're getting ready to bring in to our file. So this will be the end of the first part of the screencast, and the next one will be creating your database using the data you've gathered.